Okay, and we're officially live. Welcome everyone to the InnovateX Nibiru Hackathon opening ceremony. My name is Brian. I'm from DoraHacks. It's a pleasure to be introducing the opening ceremony for Nibiru and having you all here today. This is a very, very exciting hackathon. It's one of the largest prize pools for a Cosmos hackathon we've seen this year. So if you're a Cosmos developer and haven't had an opportunity to participate in a hackathon yet, now is a great time to hop in. Nibiru is a permissionless Cosmos blockchain. They have many different tracks for this hackathon, so all ideas are welcome. This hackathon kicked off last Friday. It's already open for submissions, and it's going to be running through August 16th. So you've definitely got ample time to come up with an idea and submit it. Submissions will be reviewed and accepted on a rolling basis. And at the end of the hackathon, that's when the actual judging and prizes will take place, and the prizes will be distributed to the winners. But that being said, the hackathon is live now. There's going to be tons of programming during the duration of the hackathon, including office hours, workshops on both on the technical and educational side, and a community voting round at the end of the hackathon as well. So definitely highly recommend getting involved as soon as possible, because we envision this to be a very competitive hackathon, as Nibiru is one of the leading Cosmos app chains. So very, very excited to have the opportunity to work with the Nibiru chain team and host this hackathon. And with that being said, I'd love to introduce Unique from Nibiru, who's here with me today. Unique, do you want to take some time just to introduce yourself?
Sure. So yeah, I'm one of the developers on Nibiru, and background was more actually from machine learning. And then I started making on-chain strategies on the Sommelier protocol. It was actually my first job in Web3 before starting Nibiru last year.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us on this opening ceremony. We're super excited to have you. And I think that you might actually have some decks that you want to share to the audience as well about the hackathon.
Yeah, I have it's just like an overview of the hackathon and an intro to Nibiru for the folks that aren't familiar.
Yeah, let's do it.
Just one sec. Okay. All right, looks like we're good to go.
Yep, we can see your screen. Feel free to kick off the little presentation.
Awesome. So yeah, the hackathons over the next roughly 2 months just started at the end of last week. So first look at a little bit into like what is Nibiru. So essentially it's a little bit of a different strategy than doing like a typical app chain where you just have one app. So what we kind of figured might work a little better is to take sort of the Arbitrum approach, where you have core dApps that kind of attract a lot of usage and liquidity, and then build an ecosystem out from there. So what the founding team kind of develops are that first set of a few dApps, and then part of what we look for with hackathons like this is those extensions beyond there with other primitives. So the different components of this includes like, the permissionless cosmosm, like you mentioned, but there's a perps application, Spot, like a native built-in Oracle module, and then a lot of baked-in utility for the Nibi token as well. So I'll go over like a short summary of each of these. So Nibi perps is like, the closest example to this is like Drift. So it's an AMM-based perps design. And essentially what our added flavor here is changing the way that we do repegging and changes to liquidity depth. So the main idea there is for it to, it's AMM-based, so there's always liquidity. You can always trade. But we've improved a lot of the factors around, guaranteeing people lower slippage. Nibi swap is pretty straightforward. So there's a volatile constant product pools and then stable swap. And then have our own sort of like lockup feature for how we do liquidity gauges. The Cosmosm, a lot of people, if they did the other Cosmos hackathons this year, are familiar with this, but the main change there is a Rust-based smart contracts, and then you get a lot of security by design, right? So you can't have reentrancy. And then we also added bindings for all of the core modules so that you can extend, that application set pretty easily. And then for the Oracle module, this is one where validators post prices, and this comes from things like Binance, CoinGecko, stuff like that. And they come to a reference price. That's the weighted median. And so the cool thing here is that fees from Nibi perps and like other applications in the future get directed toward the Oracle module for the validators. And so, by definition, also all of the people that are delegated to them also get some of that yield. So essentially, it's like a good feedback loop because you want to stake more Nibi to get more of the stablecoin yield. And of course, from there, that kind of is like and then NUSD is a fully collateralized stablecoin, forgot to mention. So there's more on that in our docs. It's basically similar in a lot of respects to like Frax, but we changed the way. Basically, we want to use the stable swap pool so that it can support multiple collateral as we add on more bridges. Then from there, what we'd like kind of see as natural extensions is like, lending and borrowing, yield vaults using the core primitives, and LSDs and whatever people decide to come up with. And the stage we're at, for a fairly young project, just started about the halfway through last year, and we did an incentivized testnet split into multiple phases. So the stage we're at in that is we're on the third one, right? So that's actually still open for people to participate. The last phase is actually a trading competition on the perps, and then that'll be the final step before gearing toward the mainnet launch. And yeah, we've had pretty substantial community growth just recently as well. So like a ton of people have like synced validator nodes, deployed and executed transaction on smart contracts, and then of course are in the different social channels. And then, got seed funding last year. So I'll go now over the different hackathon tracks. So ours aren't as strict, right? So we're in reality, you can work on anything. We have it pretty open-ended, but we do provide the tracks as a sort of like suggestion on potential things to work on, right? So for example, this can be like other client SDKs similar. We already have a Python and a TypeScript one, but if people wanted to add support for other languages, using the module bindings, it'd be easy to add like vaults on top of the perps products, probably for like delta neutral product or other things that are similar. In terms of like the category 2, we kind of envision someone could make like a summary of like your transaction history, kind of similar to like what you see in the Kepler interface for staking, or a mobile application. For community and user experience, we're kind of envisioning like connectors for different wallets or Telegram or Discord bots. Then for new products and dApps, that can really be anything. But a natural kind of next step I kind of foresee is like different marketplaces. So that can be like lending and borrowing, NFTs, but it's not restricted to that. If someone wanted to make a gaming dApp, I mean, we'd be pretty impressed with that too. Then in terms of the prize pools, so we have it that we kind of wanted the upper bound to be higher in case there's like a ton of interest, that we can actually have multiple winners. So as by a default, there's like one winner for the top, and then 5 in the other 2 categories for tier 2 and tier 3. But of course, if there's a lot of interest and a lot of impressive projects, we want it to be like we can actually have more higher tier prizes. And then for the event timeline, we obviously have the the official kickoff. Like people could start last week, but we're just doing the ceremony today. And then of course we have registration, and then we'll do probably weekly or bi-weekly office hours, depending on how much demand there is for that. And then we'll do both the regular judging, which will be like some of our VC backers the engineers from the team, things like that. And then in demos in the end in August. But as you mentioned, we'll also do a community voting round with quadratic funding. And then this is just a summary of the resources and the QR if you want to join the Telegram for the hackathon. So cool.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you for sharing. And as you had on your last slide deck, yeah, make sure to connect directly with the DoraHacks and Nibiru team. If you have any questions, obviously Nibiru chain has a Twitter. There's a Telegram chat for this hackathon, and then DoraHacks as well. You can connect with us on Twitter, on Discord. Go to our website, or if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly as well. My Telegram's at Brian Dora, and I'll make sure to help you as best I can. So thank you, Unique, for that overview of the hackathon and sharing a little bit about Nibiru as well. It's quite interesting. I like that you're going in like an Arbitrum ecosystem approach. I think the developers in our community definitely appreciate the openness of the hackathon as well. So without further ado, at this point in time, I would love to take a couple minutes to walk the audience and our developer community through the exact process of submitting a hackathon or submitting a hackathon project, I should say, to InnovateX. For those of you who have participated in DoraHacks hackathons before, this will be table stakes, but for all of our new developers or anyone that hasn't submitted to a Cosmos ecosystem hackathon yet, this is definitely going to be critical information. So please make sure to pay as close attention as you can. And if you have any questions, feel free to stop me and reach out in the chat. Okay. So first, I'll show you this screen here. So this is the DoraHacks.io platform. You can see in the URL, it's dorahacks.io/home. Please make sure when you're submitting to this hackathon, you are coming to this website and not, some other website or some scam. Obviously, as we know, it's something we always have to be cognizant of in our industry. So make sure you're coming to dorahacks.io. I'm already signed in to my account, but if you're new to the website, you're not signed in, right up here in the upper right corner where you see my little profile image, there'll be a login or sign in button for you. We offer many different types of sign in functionality. You can sign in with an email. You can sign in with a wallet, MetaMask, Wallet Connect. You can even sign in with a Bitcoin Lightning wallet if you want. But if you're a developer, what I would recommend is using the sign in with your GitHub option. Which is also something we support. This is probably the easiest method because when you submit your hackathon project, you will have to link your GitHub account to it anyway. And if you sign in with your GitHub, obviously it's automatically linked. So it's even simpler. So once you're signed in, you should navigate to Hackathon. And you'll see right here, we just kicked off InnovateX Nibiru Hackathon. It's highlighted here in the upper right corner. If you log on and you don't see it in the upper right corner, that's okay. It will likely be on our scroll bar, and you'll probably find it close to the top of this list right here as well, where all of our other hackathons are. So it'll either be down here, it'll be on the scroll bar, or it'll be highlighted right here in the corner. So what you should do is you should come and click here to navigate to the hackathon page. As I said, we just kicked it off. No biddles have been approved yet, but we have started receiving some preliminary applications. And Unique already walked you through most of this, but just to go over kind of page navigation, you can find almost all of the information on the detail page. This is where you have some information, just some regular background information about the hackathon and Nibiru chain. You can also use this link here to join the Telegram group. Right here, you also have information about the winners and what the prize distribution is going to be. And then obviously some judging criteria as well, but as Unique explained, it's quite open as this is a fast growing ecosystem and all projects are valuable to this hackathon. There's also going to be some key dates. Obviously, this is the overall hackathon timeline. And then as I mentioned, there's also going to be some events, some programming for this hackathon. We had a Twitter space last week. The opening ceremony is today. Nibiru is going to be hosting weekly office hours on Wednesday Eastern Daytime. So definitely be sure to attend those if you have any questions. And then in terms of like workshops, whether they're technical, educational, or just providing some other types of resource, please be on the lookout for announcements as these will be scheduled shortly. And then once again, here's the Telegram chat. Here is the overall tracks and idea list for the hackathon. Unique presented these earlier, but if you didn't have a chance to write all of them down, you can find them right here. Any questions you have on the tracks list, you can probably answer it by some of the ideas. Obviously, there's the four main tracks. Actually, I should say 5 main tracks, and then there's some ideas under here to kind of give developers an idea of what direction to start building in. But this is not an exhaustive list. So if you have an idea that's not written here, that's totally fine. Definitely still want you to submit it. So at this point, I'd like to show you the process of actually submitting a project. We call them biddles, which is, obviously based on the HODL meme. So what you do right here is you can submit it right here. So if you, for some reason, have participated in a DoraHacks hackathon before and have a project profile that you think is relevant for Nibiru, you can actually select it here. I imagine for 99% of you, that won't be the case, and you'll be creating a new biddle. So what you would do to create a new biddle is actually click right here. Pretty intuitive, says create a new biddle, and you'll be brought to this screen. And this is basically where you're creating your project profile for the DoraHacks platform. So you'd put in the name of your project here. Right here is where you'd submit like a fun little logo for your project. Right here, you'd specify that you're applying for a hackathon, and you would do Nibiru. And then obviously it would be crypto Web3. And all of these little things, like all of these options to click right here, these are basically like hashtags. This is to help visitors of the DoraHacks platform locate your project more quickly. And it's important for like the search feature. But don't worry too much about like getting it exactly right. It's not like it's like if you click the wrong option, for some reason you click Arweave, it's not going to prevent you from submitting to the Nibiru hackathon. It's just that your project's going to have like a hashtag Arweave. So it would be good to get as close as possible, obviously, to the correct hashtags, but don't fret too much. If you're getting a little bit confused and you think that you may have accidentally clicked the wrong one, it's no big deal. But what I would do if I was submitting a project, probably I would come here and I would probably click app chain, and then maybe I'm submitting a DeFi project, so I would choose the DeFi hashtag as well. Down here, the correct infrastructure that you'd be deployed on is obviously Nibiru right here, Cosmos SDK app chain. So you click Nibiru, and then that's basically about it for that. For the tagline, this is just like a very brief description of what your project's vision is. Like if I was creating an NFT marketplace, I would put, like next gen NFT marketplace with Y functionality, and then right here is actually where you put the actual description. This is a very thorough description of your project's mechanisms, of the architecture, etc. This description box right here supports all HTML formats. So I encourage you to add links, images. You can even add like animated videos and GIFs here as well. So you can be very thorough in the description of how your project works. Here is where you would put your Telegram for verification. This is how we ensure this is part of the verification project to make sure each project that is being submitted is legitimate. It's also how we'll be able to contact you should your project be invited to one of the demo days and or be selected as a prize winner. So please put your Telegram here. You can also, in addition to Telegram, put your Discord and WhatsApp. WeChat is optional. If you have one, you can place that here. Another important thing to do is if you're submitting a project as a team, you're going to want to make sure to add them to your project. So say I'm making a project and I want to invite Chris, who's on the DoraHacks team with me, to join my project as a contributor. I would actually just type his email in right here. And then this populates down here. All I do is click this and an email gets sent to him, an invitation to join the project gets sent to him. And he just clicks accept, and then he's contributing on this project with you as a team. And obviously right below that, you have all of the team information. So you would put like your teammates, what their roles are, what their background experience is, etc. Also getting to some more important information here for your project is your GitHub. Very important to include your GitHub for your project. and then a demo and a demo video. There's a little bit of nuance between the difference between these. A demo is probably like your website, if you have a website created for your project or a working demo. And then a demo video is a video of you like walking through what you've submitted in a very intuitive way. So if you have a demo ready, you can basically make a quick video showing all of the functionality, and you can pre-record it and attach it as well. Another thing that's useful is we always encourage you to make a Twitter account for your project because it's kind of a good way to start getting some early traction of what you're building. And then Facebook is completely optional. Once you fill all of that out, you're going to want to click I agree to the user agreement, and then you will be able to click submit BIDL and back. And this is actually a really important thing to remember, because what you've just done is created your project profile, your BIDL profile, but you actually haven't submitted to the Nibiru hackathon yet. So what you'll do is you'll click submit BIDL and back. It'll bring you back to this page right here. And now that you're here, when you click select a BIDL, the BIDL you created will appear on the drop-down menu. You'll select that, and then you'll select what track you're applying to. Maybe I'm applying to expansion of existing products. And once I do that, I would click agree one more time, and then I would click submit. At this point, your project's been submitted to the Nibiru hackathon, and it'll take anywhere from 24 to 48 hours typically for your project to be verified and made visible on the website. And once that's done, if you navigate to BIDLs, it'll start populating here. You'll be able to see all the BIDLs that have been accepted into this hackathon will appear right here. So that's basically it. That's a quick and dirty overview of the DoraHacks website and how to navigate the InnovateX hackathon page. And with that being said, I mean, that's basically I would say the meat of the opening ceremony. Hopefully that's been clear. There are some questions in the chat that I think we'll get to before we wrap up. I see Unique, you answered one of the questions already. That question was, when is Nibiru mainnet? And the answer for anyone that's not looking at the chat is it looks like it's going to be around September, but the date is still in flux, but should be this fall around September. There is one more question is, could we walk through some examples of projects on the hackathon tracks? I think I'll turn over to Unique for that. Unique, do you mind just briefly going over? I mean, it's clear that it's not an exhaustive list, but if you have any time to just briefly go over some examples of tracks one more time, I think that would be helpful.
Yeah, so in the expansion category, it mentions like client SDK. So similar to like the ones we have in Python and TypeScript, one in Golang. If someone wanted to make contracts that, for example, you could say have assets on Nibiru and go and swap on Osmosis and then come back. That would be a really good thing to develop. Then vaults are pretty straightforward, but that's any sort of like trading yield-based thing that people can enter into as a group. So for that, yeah, I think that was kind of self-explanatory. Then we kind of walked through a bunch of others in the presentation. Because we'll have like ETH bridges and other ones like that, we will need to add like MetaMask and Wallet Connect support and things like that. So that's another thing. If people have like front end experience, that's a really good project we would like. Yeah, those are like a few examples.
Cool. Thank you. I think that's clear as well. A couple more questions. The first one that I can actually take is, where can we find team members? This is a really good question. And there's actually a couple places you can find team members. The first of which is the DoraHacks Discord. We'll have a channel set up for Nibiru in our Discord where you can find team members. The second place is the Nibiru Telegram that both Unique and I pointed out. If you need to find a team member, please join that Telegram chat and you can find team members there. And then the third place would be just by reaching out to either myself, Unique, or anyone on the Nibiru or DoraHacks team. We're more than happy to assist you finding team members that way as well. And lastly, I would actually mention a new feature added to the DoraHacks website. Is that if there's any projects that you see submitted to the Nibiru hackathon, there's one important thing to remember. Say a project gets submitted tomorrow, but the hackathon lasts over 2 months. Once you submit a hackathon, you have up until the hackathon deadline to edit that BIDL before it becomes finalized, right? So if you have an idea for a hackathon and you just want to submit, a rough outline originally, and then you want to have time to work on it, you can basically submit like a rough idea. You have another 2 months to edit your Biddle profile to make sure it's all finalized before the hackathon deadline. But once those projects are on our website, you actually have the option, if you're not the person who created that Biddle, you actually have an option to click on that Biddle and request to join as a collaborator as well. So that's another way you can join and find a team. But I would say that the easiest and fastest way is to reach out to myself, Unique, Nibiru, DoraHacks team directly, and join our Discord and the Telegram chat. Definitely leverage that Telegram chat that's been highlighted in the hackathon page to find teammates as well. One more question for you, Unique, is in your opinion, why do you think Nibiru has been receiving so much traction on its incentivized testnet?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure, but the one aspect of it I think is we've definitely been like building with the garage door open, so the feedback loop between what people say in the Discord, like in the community, is pretty tight. So a lot of times we'll see a suggestion on like people say, oh, I think this should work a certain way, or I don't like the way notifications pop up, or what have you, and we'll actually go and just implement it. So I think that I guess it's a lot of fun, or I guess a lot of excitement builds up when people have like a working application that's like in flux under their feet on the testnet. So
yeah, I think that's a great answer, and I love the phrase "working with the garage door open." I think that's a great philosophy for having a hackathon in general. So definitely very excited to see some of the early project submissions and get to the judging stage. I think we'll see some very promising young builders participating. So yeah, I think that's most of what I wanted to cover from my end for this opening ceremony. I'd like to once again thank Unique for joining me on the stage today. We're very, very excited to be kicking off InnovateX Nibiru Hackathon. We think it's a very unique opportunity for developers. And I'd like to thank everyone who joined us in the audience on this opening ceremony today as well. I think that it's been a very efficient opening ceremony. We covered a lot, and hopefully it's clear to you. But please reach out to me at Brian Dora on Telegram if you have any questions, or connect directly with the DoraHacks team. You can also connect directly with the Nibiru team or Unique as well if you have any other questions. Before we end, maybe I'll turn it over to you, Unique, one last time, just to see if you have any closing remarks before we finish the opening ceremony.
No, I guess just thanks for hosting the hackathon. Excited to reach those in the DoraHacks community.
Yeah, and keep your eye out for workshop announcements as well. Those will be coming soon. So we're definitely going to have a lot of programming. So definitely just keep an eye out. But yeah, thanks everyone for joining the opening ceremony. The hackathon is live now. If you have any project submissions, please submit. Please share the word that this hackathon is occurring in the Cosmos community right now. And we're excited to be hosting it. And that concludes the opening ceremony. Thanks everyone for joining.